So our first question comes on here. It says here, where's my pencil? There it is. What substitute should be used to rewrite 4x to the power of 12, I believe, minus 5 to the power of x minus 14 as a quadratic equation? So I'm saying here, 4x to the 12 minus 5x. Oh, sorry, this is number 1. Let me state that. That's number 1 here. So 4x to the power of 12 minus 5x to the power of 6 minus 14 equals 0. So that's going to be my my polynomial for this question, for my first question here. So I want to rewrite this as a quadratic. Rewrite as quadratic. So what substitution would I need to make it as a quadratic equation here? How would I rewrite this polynomial in terms of a quadratic? So what we're going to do is, again, take a minute to think about this question, and then we are going to take it up together and do the solution together. So take a minute to do that, and yeah. So we have x to the 12, right? So remember, recall our exponent laws. When we add our exponents together, or we're subbing in our exponents together, or sorry, if we're taking the power of something. So for example, if we have here, this is x squared here, and then if we times it by x squared, we would add the exponents, right, to get x to the 4, right? So that's just a little review of exponent laws, right? So that maybe this is what we need to solve for this question here, right? Or is it? I'm not sure. So if we want to rewrite this as a quadratic, what we have to do is I need to rewrite it to something to the power of 12, right? So I'm gonna do this in blue. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna make a new equation with the value u. So this is gonna be u. I'm gonna let u equal to something. So let's do that. So all I'm doing is I'm just changing simply my my exponent here, right? I want this to become a quadratic, like u to the u, or I want it to become, sorry, x squared, right? And then minus x minus something, right, equals 0, right? The 14 here stays constant, right? I don't have to change the 14 here. So let me write 14 equals 0, and I'm just solving for whatever this blank is and this blank is, right? These are the two blanks I'm looking at. So how would I get from 4x to the 12 to x squared, right? What would I have to do? Like, this difference is, you can say that this is a difference, or if I'm doing x to the 12, I can divide it by x squared, right? Or sorry, I'm not dividing. No, sorry, I'm not dividing. Basically what I'm doing is I'm taking these two exponents, and what I'm going to do is I can, like, maybe I can take it to another exponent. So what I can say is I can do x and x to the power of 12, and then I'm going to divide it by or take it to the power of something, so that this question would equal x to the power of squared, right? So what I want to do is I want to actually I want to take it to another power. Basically, I would do this x to the power of 12 to the, and I would to the negative negative 6 would equal x squared. So I would do something like this. To the negative 6. Sorry, I would do x. Sorry, I wouldn't do that. I would do x to the power of 12 divided by maybe x to the 10 to x squared, right? And that's what I'm doing here, because I'm subtracting my exponents to get x squared, right? So basically what I would have to do is I would have to divide this by x to the 10, right, to get x squared, right? But if you look at this substitution, it doesn't work for this one here, right? It doesn't really work, right? Because if I divide 5x to 6, if I divide it by x to 10, I'm going to get x to the negative 4. So this doesn't make sense here. So I have to find another substitution for me to get this. And the only valid solution in this case here is, instead of doing this operation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called a direct substitution. So what I have to do is I have to let, I'm gonna do some red. I'm gonna have to say that I'm gonna let in this case u, or some other variable, equal x to the 6. And why I chose x to the 6 was because of this this polynomial here, right? Because I want this here to become u, right? So if I said let u to the x to the 6, I would get something like this. I would get 4, and I get u. I get 4u squared minus 5u minus 14, and that's gonna be my actual answer for this problem. And the reason why is that if I had u squared here, and I said let u be x squared, right? And x squared to the power of to the power of 2 here would equal x to the 12, right? So this here is exactly the same as the squared I was talking about before, right? This degree I was talking about before. So in that case, I would get this would be my problem. Right? I need to let this u substitution here. So I would get 4u squared minus 5u minus 14, and this here equals 0, right? And this here is my quadratic equation, right? You can see here, this is my highest degree here is squared, right? So this here is my correct answer, 4u squared minus 5u minus 14, and I did this u substitution. So let u equal x to the power of 6 here. So let me see what they did here. So what's equation is quadratic, the highest number is value 2. That's good. And then they did now the given equation is 4x12 minus 5x to the power 6 minus 14. Highest power variable is 12, so to make it quadratic, we have to replace it by y squared. So they did y squared instead. That's fine. And then therefore x to the 6 equals y, and x to the 12 equals y squared. So it'd be 4y squared minus 5y minus 14. This is good because they did the substitution of y equals x to the 6, perfect solution. So this here is a perfect solution and analysis. And because that's exactly what the same here, I actually replaced it with u instead of y, totally fine. So this solution here is correct.